Peace reflection. Yeah, that's better. So, y'all wanted to talk about my experience with religion, because I feel like we all have some experience, with religion at some point, because like I said, it's a program, an old program. It's a paradigm that we all have gotten stuck into. And for me, it happened with me as soon as I was brought into this realm, to this dimension in my mind, because my Babylon family, they're Christians. They base everything on the Bible and Christianity. So that was the paradigm that that I received through my Babylon family, and so I based my whole life around it. And it's funny when I think about how I was taught Christianity. It was, and the reason why I held on to it, it was because of guilt. It wasn't because of true love. And you know what love means. Love is understanding. It was because of guilt, and because I didn't want to go to hell. So I did not want to do the right thing based on the facts, based on understanding. I did the right thing because I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to be that person, and go to hell and have to live that life and just, be paid as the bad person. And that is something that you do not want to do. You want everything you do, it should be based on objectivity and facts and understanding. This is why I do what I do, because of this. But what religion does, religion makes you stay docile. It makes you stay ignorant. Because what Christianity and most of these churches teaches you is not to ask questions. Don't question the Lord. Don't question, the Bible. Let it be what it be. And a lot of people that read the Bible, they don't even understand how to read the Bible. They don't even understand. They can't even decipher it and really understand what it means. And then the book that they're basing their whole life on is a version of something. It's not the originality of it. It's the version of it. So you're basing your whole life based on someone else's perception, and that perception may not even be the clearest perception because it's their version of it. And we all know that everybody has their own perception to the same situation. So and I just remember when I used to question that in Bible study, they used to tell me, well, this is the closest thing to the truth, so that's what we're going to base our whole life on. And now that I think about it, it's just okay, we know that this is not the original book, of truth, but yet we're just going to go ahead and just go along with it. And it reminds me of the story, the little children's story about the emperor with no clothes. But everyone knew that the emperor had no clothes on, but everybody pretended like the emperor had clothes. And it took the innocence of a child, the purity of a child, to be like, he is naked, like he does not have any clothes on. And that's how I look at religion. I feel like everyone knows that there are holes, there are missing links to this whole Christianity and Islam thing. See, I can only speak of Christianity because that's where I came through, and that's what I study. I can't speak on Islam, but Islam and Christianity is the same thing. It's not separate from each other. They try to make it seem like it is, but it's really not, based on what the Honorable Master Teacher has taught me and exposed me to the truth of things. So if you into Christianity, you are in Islam. If you in Islam, you into Christianity. So don't make it seem like, oh, you know more than the other, because it's still the same thing. The pot calling the kettle black. It's still the oppressor trying to keep you docile to become who you really are and to truly understanding who you are, because that's really what religion is. It's just to keep you docile, to keep you conformed. And when I really think about that with myself, that's what happened, because I just remember that I had to be a certain way. And I know for some of y'all that grew up in the church, you had to be a certain way, dress a certain way, act a certain way. You know what I mean? And so then when you're not in church, you're a whole nother way. And that's why they used to say that the preacher kids were the worst kids, because they would be one way in church and another way in public. But I feel like the church, what it created was to put shame and guilt to who you really are, to make you be ashamed of your body, to make you be ashamed of nudity. You know what I mean? Like me and my Babylon grandmother, we never got undressed in front of each other because it was inappropriate. How could it be inappropriate for a daughter to be naked in front of her mother? But see, that's where she had been programmed to believe that, you know, her body, there was shame in her body, and she taught that to me, you know, and so I was very ashamed to not show myself and, you know, and cover myself up, but then there was still a part of me that knew that was not true. So a lot of times I would rebel, and then I would go out and just do things. It's because I was going against myself. And a lot of times when you are trying to force yourself to be something you're not, then that's when it's like putting air into a jar and closing it up and putting that pressure and pressure, and before you know, you're like boom, and then you just self-destructive. And that's why a lot of Christians, they beat themselves up because they are self-destructing, because they're trying to be this image of perfection and don't even realize that they were already perfect. But because of the perception, because of the programming that we have been fed to that was a lie. The book wasn't even real, that we didn't realize that who we already were. But we're acting and moving in a way like we don't, and that's why it's so confusing, you know. And all it did for us was create like guilt and shame and confusion, you know, to who we were, and we tried to live up to this image that we already were. And that's like, the more I think about it, it was like I was already perfect. Like I was already perfect. Leave my hair alone. My hair was perfect the way it was. You know what I mean? Like my body is perfect the way that it is. You know, it's just like the diet that I had was perfect. The way everything was perfect, the way that it was. And then we got damaged by the impurities, by the imbalance. We were already perfect as we already were, you know. But the most unhealthiest people in the mind and in the body is Christians. They're the most unhealthiest people, because when you go to church, what do they give you? They give you meat, they give you sugar, they give you all this food that you should not be eating, and they tell you to pray over it. And that's what I remember, is that they always told me to pray, like no matter what, just pray. But you know, but pray to what? Like pray to God that I know I'm doing the wrong thing, but please leave me a spot in heaven. Like you know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I looked at it. Like I'm praying, like, you know, I know I'm doing wrong, but forgive me. Okay, if you know you're doing wrong, it's just like, how can you be forgiven when you keep doing the same thing? Because true knowledge is understanding, and if you know, so if you truly understand and you truly have knowledge in something, you are going to make that change in your actions. But what religion does, it helps you not do that. It lets you just continue to do wrong, you know, in your own ignorance. It lets you continue to be ignorant, and then you rely on this fictitious character to be your savior. But in reality, you are the savior to yourself by opening your mind and freeing your mind. You know, that's the true savior. And if you want to look at Jesus Christ as any replica of an example, Jesus Christ, you know, stood on principles and morals and did not let anything to fear it from it, or him from it. You know what I mean? But to rely on that character, you know, for your salvation, but then you're not making any change or any action in your life, you know, that says a lot about you. And then you wonder why your life is still the way that it is. You know, and I had to come to that reality within myself, and I started looking outside of myself, because I just realized this whole religion thing, there has to be an end point to it. It has to, because if the world is moving in this direction, and if this is the majority, then obviously there's something wrong with it, because when the world is for it, then there's something wrong, because the righteousness the world hates. So if there was truly something pure and great about Christianity and about religion, the world would be against it anyways, But because that's the number one religion, the number one ideology in this existence, that should say everything. Because what is popular, there is something wrong with it, because what is true is not popular. The real truth is not popular. People do not want to go with what's really true. They want to go with what's comfortable. And I see Christianity and all these religions keeping people comfortable in their mindset and in their actions, and in their life. That's how I look at Christianity, and I just remember, because I keep coming back to the guilt. I just remember being guilty, about having sex with someone, like they would always say you only have sex with one person, and that was my whole goal, is to have sex with one, find that man and marry him. But the reason why most of us, I could say most of us, for us women, that was not enough. That was not enough to make you just want to just be with one man for the rest of your life, and that is it. And if you go against that, then you're going to hell. That just wasn't enough, and that's the reason why you see so many people fornicating and committing adultery and all of that, because going to hell was not enough. It just wasn't enough. But when it has been broken down scientifically why a woman should not be giving her body to just anyone, and when it's broken down scientifically what sex truly is, then you can make an objective decision. You can really look at it for what it is, and then you will act upon that, because you understand that everything is sex. Sex is sacred energy exchange. You're exchanging energies with everything. You are having sex with everything. And so the more that you think about that, the more you want to be conscious, like, wow, I don't want to be exchanging myself with everything, because I'm going to become that. And then as a woman, if I continue to have sex with so many men, it's going to mess up my vagina. It's going to mess up the pH in my vagina. And it can also mess up your walls in your vagina. It could just do so much. But that's not what I was taught. I was just taught you don't want to be sleeping with a whole bunch of men because you'll be considered a hoe and you go to hell. Like, what? Like, oh, okay. Like, it's very subjective. It's something I'm like, okay, I'll do my best. But obviously that wasn't enough for me, because I'm just like, well, but once I came into the divine truth of self and understood the importance of my body and exchanging energies with another person, I became real selective. I'm like, I'm not letting that energy inside of me, and I'm becoming one with that man. I'm going to be like that man. I don't know him like that. So if somebody would have just set me down and put the objective truths to me, taught me about my body, taught me about the biology of my body and the mechanics of my mind, I would have been moving in a totally different way. But all they did was just give me a book and told me to read this book, and then it was missing pieces, and then told me to go to this building with all these other people that are confused and don't really know, and we all pretend, that we believe in something that we know that's not there, because we didn't really see it, but let's just act like it's there, and we all gonna go to the Holy Land. Like, what I mean? It's like a fairy tale. It was very fictitious, and that's how our society has been created, on lies and fictitious, and everybody just going along with it, knowing somewhere within them that it's not the right thing to do, but they're going to do it anyways. And that's how I just looked at religion, and that's the reason why I ended up just deciding to go beyond that and really I look at things for what it truly is in this reality. I look to nature. I was looking to nature a long time ago. I was looking at how the animals were being who they really were, and how they were a part of this system that just made sense, and they did not go against it. And at that time, I didn't fully understand like I understand now. But I really was looking to nature. That was the only thing in my reality that was true, and that was untouched in a way, that showed me that the birds are being who they are, the trees are being who they are, like everything is natural and it's pure, it's form. And so that's the only thing I could go by, because I couldn't go by the people. I couldn't really go by them, because they didn't know no more than the other person knew. And so I always looked to nature, in regards to knowing how to be and what I should be aspiring, to look for and want to be at a certain point. It was nature. And even in the Bible, it did say that. But Like Jesus always fled to the woods. Like it always had little hints, because that's all the like religion is. It's just, you know, science books, but tainted science books, you know, to try to keep you confused and docile, you know. But that's just the name of the game. That's just the way it is. But the chosen ones, the true seekers, they're going to go beyond that, and they're going to continue to ask the questions why. And the universe is going to open your mind so that you can receive it, you know. And that's exactly, you know, what happened to me. And I just think that religion is just keeping us, it's like a truth that is out of balance, you know. That's what a lie is. A lie is the truth out of balance. And you have to decide to be back into balance by knowing who you are. That's where the true balance is. But when you're going away from yourself, I'm not going to say outside, when you're going away from yourself and asking somebody to tell you who you are, then you are out of balance to yourself, because you don't want anybody telling you who you are, because they're just basing it on their perception. And that's what this whole thing is. It's a perception. So you need to understand your own perception. Don't rely on somebody else. Don't rely on these preachers to tell you about life when they don't even know it, and they following a doctrine that's so outdated, and it's a reincarnation trap, and it's all they are is just the representatives of your next karma. That's all these churches are, these religions are. They're just setting you up to stay trapped in your mind, and then you're just going to replay it again and again until you realize what is really going on. You know what I mean? But I'm here to tell you, like, if any of y'all in this room right now that's still stuck on that religion thing, you know, let it go. And the first thing of being able to let that paradigm go is to replace it with another paradigm that is based on truth and facts, okay? And the first thing you need to do is study yourself. That's astrology and learn biology, and start with those two things. Really understand who you are, the mechanics of your body and of your mind. That's the first two things. 'Cause I'm not going to tell you just give up that. No, I'm going to tell you to get rid of that and replace it with something that's worth value, and that's going to really help you in this reality, you know, so that you can truly get a true understanding. Because I don't know about you, when I understand something, I don't know, it just makes me happy. Like, I finally get it. I understand. I just don't want to be in this reality and just do things because someone told me to do it. I want a true understanding of why I do what it is that I do, because the more that I understand it, the more I'm going to become it, and it's going to be like a second nature to me, you know. And so when I just think about the stuff that I used to believe in, it didn't stick because I knew that it wasn't true, and it didn't make any sense. So that's why when I used to believe in that religion, it's like one minute my foot would be in, the next minute my foot would be out. It's because it wasn't based on anything. It didn't have a true foundation. It was a whole bunch of holes, and my foot kept stepping in the hole because it was like, this is not real. There's something wrong with this. And I'm just the person that's going to say there's something wrong with this, and I have to be the rebel, the outcast, so I will be it, just so I can save others one day, you know, to put that frequency out there, like, look, let go of the religion trap. It's not real, okay? It's not real. It's fake. It's outdated. Like, let it go.